Hey everybody, I am excited today to be bringing you an unboxing video on the PXW Z90. I've been using the PXW X70, the predecessor to this camera, for probably, I would say, about 12 years, just guessing. And I have absolutely loved that camera. It is the best camera that I use consistently. It's easy, it has good manual functions, accessible on the outside where manual controls should be, and it gives you a great quality image, Zeiss glass, Sony color. It's fantastic. So without further ado, let's unbox this thing and see what the new generation has to offer. First thing we're going to see here is going to be our warranty. We're going to have the user manual here as well. Probably going to need to use that because I did see that this camera actually comes with the ability to live stream wirelessly and with a wired LAN, which I will need to figure out at some point because most of my workflow these days is going to be network based, and that's a big selling point. I'm going to take out the first thing here. That is going to be our handle. This is going to give us our XLR inputs. We got 1 and 2 right there. On the other side of this, oh yeah, that, like peeling that off, nice clean glass here. The cover over our manual controls for our audio. It's going to connect into the shoe mount, and then you'll screw it in, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. Got our oversized eye cup for when we are shooting outside. Next, we're going to have our cables. We've got several different kinds of cables. We've got a micro USB here. We've got our charging apparatus here. So we're going to be able to do that directly into the camera to charge the battery. I do have battery chargers, and I can talk about that at some point as well. I found a good option with Watson chargers and then some other brand batteries. So we got those there. We have our lens hood, and here we have our battery. We also have an element to put on the shoe mount there as well. So looking at this battery, I know that the battery probably has a little bit of charge, but not too much charge. This is just the standard battery that comes with this. As I mentioned, I did get the Watson, the extended battery that Watson offers. These batteries are giving me probably about 4 hours to 5 hours of shoot time compared to about 3 hours with these. So it's definitely worth the investment since the Watson battery is cheaper than the actual Sony battery. But we'll look at those here in just a minute as well. Comes with a remote control if you would like to operate this from outside of behind the viewfinder. This gives you some good options with that. You can do zoom and record and everything from that. And now here is what we're here for. This is the Z90. I'm gonna take it out. And there we go. Let's move the box here. That's gonna be everything inside the box. So this is the XD cam, the Sony PXW Z90. Again, this is a fantastic camera. Some of the things that I love about this camera, just based on the predecessor, are going to be the SDI output. It also has HDMI if you need to use HDMI to go to a monitor or something. I like to use SDI in our productions because I want to make sure I've got a good stable connection with that. And obviously you can get a longer run with SDI cable. So we're using the BNC connector there for that. It has an 18 times clear image zoom on this. One of the things that I loved about the predecessor was it was a 1080 camera, but it had a 4K sensor. So you could do the digital, not digital zoom, but digital extender, and it would effectively double your zoom, which allowed us to be up in a press box and zoom far across the field and get some pretty tight shots that you normally would not be able to do with a camcorder. But just looking at this, it feels good. It's a solid build. That's one of the things that I have loved about the previous generation, the X70, is the fact that I have had those cameras for 8 years and they're still in day-to-day operation with high school students. Now, we had 4, we're down to 3. Some things are going to happen, obviously, with wear and tear. But the fact that these cameras have lasted as long as they have really says a lot about Sony. And that's one of the reasons that I chose to go this route instead of going with a Panasonic AG CX10, which I have some for NDI production. And they're easy enough for that, but you're really limited with that. Whereas with these, it is a great field camera, but using this SDI output, I could go into a Bird Dog or another brand NDI encoder decoder, and I can use this anywhere to pull the signal back into our control room. Now I just slipped this out of the shoe mount on the top. I'm gonna set that over there, and I'm going to go ahead and put on the adapter here. There's another little piece there on that to protect these. Because you're getting a lot of control here using this hot shoe mount. You're actually able to control your audio coming in through this. So I'm gonna take this, you slide this in. All right, there we go. I'm gonna slide that in. And once you get that all the way to the front, you're just gonna press down on the screws and twist those on there. And that's another thing about this camera over the Panasonic, the CG, the CX10, is I have had several times where these screws actually just come loose, where I'll go to grab the camera by the handle and the handle comes off and the camera could potentially drop. Been able to catch it. That hasn't happened yet. But I do have one of the cameras where the viewfinder, the LCD flip out, is messed up. And I am assuming that maybe that's what happened with a student. And nobody told me about it, but we are where we are and we have a camera with a broken LCD screen. It doesn't close all the way and it doesn't open all the way. Fortunately, we're able to use that as a wide shot most of the time, so it's not that big of a deal. All right, so there we go. We have our handle on, again, our XLR inputs for that. Then we're gonna take our battery, and I've got this Watson battery here. This is the, it replaces the NP FV100A. Again, this is Watson, so it's a lot cheaper, but it's something that has been reliable for me. I'm just gonna go ahead and open up the LCD screen, and it is gonna go ahead and boot up. Let me see what we're looking at. It's gonna go ahead and ask us to do the clock set and do all of that, which we can do later, but let's go ahead and keep talking about some of the outside parts here. We're gonna go ahead and put on the lens hood, which is pretty easy. You're just gonna line up the red on here and you're just gonna twist it, and you'll hear that kind of click into place. The lens hood is one of the things that I really do like about this camera. It stays on there. I do have some other Sonys and it will come off fairly easily, even though it's more difficult to get on. In this case, this just does like a little half turn, quarter turn, and it kind of locks on there and stays on there, which is good. Again, we've got our cables here. If we go ahead, we can plug this in, plug this into the wall, and then our power is gonna go here on the back. It goes down right here by the battery. But we're not gonna worry about that right now. We know we got power because of the Watson battery. But I'm excited to get these cameras into the classroom and start training students on how to use these. I think it is a great camera option for high school and college production. It again has an incredible image. Again, I'm going based off of the predecessor. That's why I bought these. I will do more of a review and upload some test footage actually after I get this out and work with it a little bit. But I'm incredibly excited about this camera and can't wait to see what we can do with it. I appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.